Welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of Overtime with Athletic Director Robert Banks. A closer look at Jaguar Athletics. I'm Chris Powers, and we are excited to be here again today here at Scoreboards. The food was excellent last week, and I can't wait to dive in it again. Everybody kept telling me, was the bread pudding that awesome? Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. I did know that.
Oh, my goodness gracious. I hate to say, my Nanny Barbara, she's not going to like that. It was unbelievable. That was the best I've tasted. It's unbelievable. We've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about the men and women's basketball. Very successful home trip here, of course, at F.G. Clark Activity Center. And then we'll also talk about some things going on. Travion Scott will be with us on the program. But we've got the man right here, Athletic Director Robert Banks. And, man, we've got a lot of stuff going on. The church night was a very fun night. That was the Saturday game over at UAPB. It was at Southern University, but it was against UAPB. A nice concert at halftime right there.
Oh, yeah, Living Faith Christian Center. Hey, my church that I attend here, remember that church, they do an awesome job, and that was just a little bit what we get every Sunday. So I'm sure that Bishop Johnson was proud of how they performed, and very excited where you know, they're not shy to come out and worship at the same time and let people know about their belief in faith.
Yes, indeed. And I tell you, they put on a magnificent show. I got to hear a little bit of it because I was doing the halftime show on the broadcast, so I couldn't hear all of it, but it was absolutely unbelievable what I could hear. Also, too, there's so much stuff going on at the F.G. Clark Activity Center when the game is going on. There's so many contests. You got to run and get a shoe. Yeah. I would trip for days on that. Run and get a shoe, then take the bucket, take the shot, half-court shots and all that. Coach, it is fun setting right now at the F.G. Clark during basketball games.
Well, yeah, that was the intent to create an exciting environment around the game. And so where you can come to the game, enjoy the game, and we have different ancillary events, different games going on while the game. And so you can bring your kid there, take them up there, shoot some shots and win a prize. Halftime, we got a lot of people competing and winning gifts. Obviously, the jukebox haven't been there yet, but when we come back home, they'll be in the building. And so, you know, we work very hard going out and looking at other places, what they do for games. And so we can come back. We're not inventing the wheel. We're just doing what other schools do.
And speaking of the building, the F.G. Clark Activity Center looking absolutely great right now. It's under construction as we speak right now, under reconstruction. So tell us, I like they're going to have a new roof. I love the gold and blue lights all around the building. Boy, it makes it look nice.
Believe it or not, Dr. Belton is after a blue roof. And so he's working hard on that blue roof. And so we hope that the folks downtown will let us do it. But if not, we know that we're going to have a building that's been transformed into a nice looking building. I think it was much overdue. That was one of my complaints coming in, is that when someone crosses over the hump, and it's not just about athletics, it represents Southern University. And so obviously we had to come in and do some ADA improvements. And so we appreciate Mr. Upshaw and Mr. Guillory coming in and Mr. Bowie handling those day-to-day things as we get that building prepared. And also we had to do some Title IX things as it relates for the NCAA on the inside. So that was much needed. So as we go forward, when they come in and look into athletics, that's the NCAA that is, then they can see what we have done as it relates to our corrective actions. So I'm very excited about that. It's a continuing situation because we're going to bring in new goals and hopefully a new floor for next season. So we have, you know, under my leadership, we've been doing a lot with facilities, and so we're going to continue to do that because we plan on adding a couple more sports, you know, here in the next year and a half. We plan on bringing men and women golf back. So there's a lot of things that have to happen so we can get ourselves prepared.
What is the completion date, target date for the F.G. Clark?
Well, you know, all this year we're going to be working, and so there is another phase of work that can possibly be done. So it can run another 12 months. And so I'm hoping that other phase will be done. And so, but we're excited about it. We'll work around that. You know, we're about to finish the lower level on one half of the lower level. And so we'll move people back in office, put people in temporary buildings, and then start on the other side. And so it's going to take a little time because we're still in there working. And obviously you see that we're not out the building. The building is still for us to perform our duties in every day. So we're working around that. It takes a little longer to work around that. So we're very excited, though, what the outcome going to be in the end.
A.W. Mumford Stadium looks great. The fresh painting, and obviously the field looks unbelievable as well.
Yeah, so they're actually on the other side now. You know, they was on the home side. Now they're on the business side, and they're going in, renovating underneath, new restrooms. We're actually extending the lower level for handicap. We're looking at doing some other things as it relates to making it historic. And so there are some things that have to be done underneath the stadium so we can come back in and put winning teams, track teams, football jerseys, and mentions of people that's been successful and historic as it relates to Southern athletics. So there's a lot of work still that, even though that phase is coming to an end, that I'm approaching to try to continue to better that area as well.
I'm just seeing a lot of happy coaches. Softball to soccer, a lot of coaches are happy because they see you working hard to get these facilities looking great.
Well, no question about it, and you know, that's why the overtime series, as it relates to the ancillary events, the fundraisers that we do, I say Party with a Purpose, and the Taste of Jag that's coming up, the extravaganza the week before the season starts, we bring these groups in, so our alumni base can come out and support that. These are direct relationships of where those dollars going. That's to all these things that I'm talking about. And so we had to create that funding source. And now it's not enough, and so we're able to kind of partner with the foundation and use a little what the state has given us, go in and beg the president to add a little bit more help for us. And so you go out there now and you look at the softball field, you won't believe your eyes of what's going on and what that's going to look like when it's all over. But all that cost, and I'm not the one to beg, but I'm the one to say, hey, if you want to help athletics, then invest into the things that we're doing.
Right.
Buy a season book, that go a long ways, and we're going to do the rest.
Improving facilities brings in better athletes, brings in these championship rings.
I've been fortunate in my time.
Like Tommy Krysan said last week, it looks like a doorknob.
Yeah, well, I'm blessed to have, you know, when I was the basketball coach, to have several of these, and now I'm looking, as the AD, I told him we had our departmental meeting, I'm not just looking for this, I'm looking for that SWAC conference cup.
Yeah,
that means that Southern is dominating again, and that's why we out there.
Look, they got a good response. All right, when we come back, speaking of basketball, we're talking Lady Jaguar basketball right here. Coach Carlos Funches is right here. We'll do that as we continue right here. It's the Overtime with Athletic Director Roman Banks as we talk, get a little closer look at Jaguar Athletics. Back after this on Pelican Sports TV.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fruget. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fruget today.
It's game day. A day that should be spent in the living room, not the kitchen. So next game, you just worry about the score, because we've got the food covered. With hand-battered, cooked-to-order, always fresh, never ever frozen chicken fingers, craveable cane sauce, crispy crinkle-cut fries, and jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, official chicken of Southern University. One love.
Grand Cherokees, we'd rather sell them than move them.
It's Salisbury's Move and Sale and Jeep Adventure Days.
Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo, $27,990.
With Power Group backup camera, keyless entry, and Uconnect.
Get them now at Salisbury's Chrysler,
Dodge,
Jeep,
and Ram in Baton Rouge.
Welcome to the Multiplier Games. Multiply your winnings 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, 50 times. Win up to $200,000. Louisiana Lottery. Multiply your play.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Overtime with Athletic Director Roman Banks. A closer look at Jaguar Athletics. I'm Chris Powers, and we've got Lady Jaguar coach right here, Mr. Carlos Funches.
Hi, Chris. How are you doing?
Doing great, my friend. How about you, man?
Doing well.
Well, 5 straight wins in a row, 5-1. And, Coach, you're doing it like a lot of other teams would like to do it. Notice that, first of all, you've got such a strong bench that your bench players, you'll take your starters out, bring your bench players in, and you're playing a lot of second stringers for a good part of the game and giving your first stringers a nice rest.
Yeah, I mean, our bench has done a tremendous job the last 2 games especially, scoring, I think, 44 points against Pine Bluff and coming back and scoring 54 points. I mean, that's been really, really huge for us.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you got it right on the head. For the Pine Bluff game, you outscored your opponent from the bench 44-27, and in the game against Valley, 54-32. Pretty impressive.
I mean, we have some young ladies that can really score the basketball, and our freshmen really, I mean, they know what they're doing right now. So it's really kicking in, and they're getting better and better game by game. So we're going to hope that continues.
You talked about turnovers last time in one of the games against, I think, Jackson State. You had 10?
Had 10 turnovers.
10 turnovers only. But this one was another turnover deal because of the fact you scored off the turnovers, the points off the turnovers. You outscored them 34-13.
Well, that's what we want to do. We want to make the game fast. Like you say, with a bench like we have, we can go to our bench and it's not a drop-off. You know, in some cases, we get a little better in certain areas. But we want to continue that role and just, like I say, try to get better and better each game.
And dominated them in the paint. I mean, you out-rebounded by only 4, 35-31. We're talking about Pine Bluff. But in the paint scoring, you outscored them 30-14.
And I thought we did a good job, more so driving the basketball, getting in the paint, and again, fast break points. You know, creating turnovers and doing things like that to get some easy buckets. You don't want to rely on your half-court offense to get all your scoring.
Brittany Rose, she's got so much natural ability, and I know that the only thing, a weakness that I see from her is her turnovers, especially trying to go down deep. So my question to you is she so fast that she's throwing the ball expecting the player to be there, or is she just not seeing it down low?
Well, sometimes I think she overpasses more so than anything. Sometimes she'll try to make a pass when she should take a shot. She's a scorer. You know, that's what we expect her to do, and that's what the rest of the girls expect her to do, shoot the basketball when she has an opportunity, you know, an open shot.
And in that game against UAPB, you won by 42 points. But you didn't, it wasn't like run and gun all game. You went through your motions. You shot very well from the field, 59% in the second half, and for the game you shot at 48%. And from the free throw line, we talked about that, shot 82% in the first half, 85% in the second half. So really good at the charity stripe.
You know, that's one area we must improve at, the free throw line, especially going on the road. When you get charity shots, you must knock them down because, you know, they're going to be few and far between. So you got to make your free throws, and we want to penetrate that basketball and keep drawing fouls.
In the second game against Mississippi Valley State on Monday, your defense took over. You didn't allow much buckets coming in from Valley. They only shot 30% from the field, only 8 field goals in the second half.
Yeah, and I thought we put them on the line a little too much. You know, we want to make teams score from the field and not put them on the free throw line. I think they attempted 28 free throws, and that's far too many. You know, that's going to really hurt you, especially on the road.
Coach, I'm going crazy over one of your players. Freshman from Southern Lab, Kaylin Williams. if she keeps her head in it, and you know, young people, you don't know what they're going to do, but if she keeps dedicated to her job at Southern University and playing basketball, Coach, she has got a great shot. She's got great instincts down low. I saw her miss a shot. She got it. She didn't bounce it on the floor like some players would do. She went straight up with the tip in. She is an impressive player.
I mean, Kaylin is going to be, tremendous before she leaves here. She's just scratching her potential. I think we have a proud papa out in the audience right here. That's her dad sitting here. But not only is she a tremendous player, but she's a great young lady and a great student. I mean, she came in with 24 college credits as a freshman before she started her this fall semester.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's unheard of, 24 hours coming in as a freshman. But she's just going to get better and better. She's an extremely hard worker, and I can see the growth, not just in the game, but in practice every day. She's getting better on both ends of the court, but she's going to be tremendous.
Good passer, everything, and I hope that her dad don't camp out by the door, because on the radio I said, I love her. I love her. I mean, she's going to have talent. There's no question about that, like you said. And when she gets it going, I mean, just her form, everything is perfect. I liked her a lot, and I can't wait to see more and more as she progresses down at Southern University. Now, Scott Aubert's going through what everybody goes through in sports. If you've ever played sports, whether it's football, especially baseball, when you go through a hitting slump, it's like you can't get your mind in, because being a good athlete, it's not just about your athletic skill. A lot of people will say, okay, well, I've got a good athletic skill. I can go and do this any day of the week. But it's also in your mind. And right now, I noticed that when you had 4 second streamers in there from your bench, but you had Scott Aubert still in there too. I know you're probably trying to get her back in her flow.
Yeah, we want to get her into a rhythm. One thing about Skylar, you know what you're going to get out of her every day. She's going to come out. She's going to be a tremendously hard worker. She's going to lead by example, and she's selfless. You know, she doesn't really care about scoring anything like that. If she has an open shot, she's going to take it, and that's what we expect her to do, to continue to take the open shots. But, I mean, she cheers hard for the rest of her teammates, regardless of how things are going for her. I thought she got in foul trouble the last 2 games, and that kind of got her out of her rhythm early, and she had to sit in the second quarter, I think, both of the last 2 games. But she's going to be okay, no doubt about it, because she's going to work her way out of it.
Coach, you got one of the strongest teams in the conference, and especially if that bench keeps going the way it is going, that you're going to be really down a tournament time. You've got a good shot.
Well, you know, the best thing about this team is you don't have to rely on one person to do everything or one person to score. And Coach Banks can attest to this. When you have to scout for 10 different kids that's capable of scoring 18 to 20 points, it's hard. It's really hard. So, you know, we believe in really being balanced and each and every person doing their job.
And what I like about this, okay, we have a senior-laden team in a way, but you also have some players underneath that. Lyric Scott, you got Williams, like we just talked about. You've got some players like that that's going to be coming about even next year. Brittany Rose, the junior, should be a senior next year, but you've got some players that are really, you know, got some good potential down the road too next year.
We do, and we have a great recruiting class coming in, so we're just trying to continue to build and get better and better each year.
All right, speaking of the future, the Alabama trip. First to Huntsville, Alabama on Saturday, then over to Alabama State at Montgomery, Alabama in the Joel Reed Acadome, which is always tough for Southern to play, both men and women.
Yes, it is. I mean, this Alabama trip is always tough, so we're just preparing like we do for every other game, getting ready for Alabama A&M, and then Sunday we'll be trying to get ready for Alabama State, so hopefully we can go on the road and get 2 victories.
And then here comes Grambling State.
Well, you have Alcorn. Don't forget them.
Oh,
That's a tough place to go over there and play. They're always good. So we have 3 road games in a row, and then, of course, like you said, Grambling will be coming in town. So, I mean, these next 5, 6 ball games are really going to be tough.
And that Alcorn State game, that's midway through the season.
Yes.
And then you start with the second half, which is at Grambling, at home, Grambling State and Jackson State. 2 tough teams to play, but 2 teams that you beat at their place.
Right, and you know, that should give us a little bit more confidence. But these 3 games on the road, I mean, it's going to be tough. So we're going to take it 1 game at a time, because like my dad always told me, the most important game on your schedule is the next game.
The next game on your schedule.
So that's words I try to live by.
3-1 at home in conference play and undefeated on the road, Coach.
Well, hopefully we can keep that streak going.
That's pretty impressive. And tournament time, if you win on the road like that, tournament time, that bodes very well.
Yeah, and you have to be disciplined. You have to play with structure. Of course, we give our kids a lot of freedom offensively to do some things, but defense travels. And we work today strictly on nothing but defense, our rotations. I thought we had some breakdowns the second half against Valley the other night, so we had to go back and try to clean that up and, go back to the fundamentals. That's what the game is all about. Fundamentally, you have to be sound defensively.
All right, you and I both said this. We both agreed that when the men win that first game, look out. And they're going to be a tough out. So Coach Sean Woods of the crew definitely getting their team together. When we come back, we're going to talk men's basketball right here. Coach Sean Woods is going to join us as we continue right here. It's Overtime with Athletic Director Roman Banks. And a closer look at Jaguar Athletics right here on Pelican Sports TV. All right, Chris.
Family road trips just got a whole lot easier. The 2018 Nissan Rogue. Now with Nissan Intelligent Mobility, featuring technologies like available ProPilot Assist, which helps keep an eye on the road ahead and helps you stay centered while you're turning this lane into memory lane. Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
CareSouth offers a wide range of comprehensive medical, behavioral health, and dental services. On behalf of the staff and board of directors, we want to thank the parish of Ascension, East Baton Rouge, and Iberville for allowing us to serve you. Come out to any of our locations where family is serving families.
I can still remember Charlotte's first day of kindergarten like it was yesterday. Now, she's heading off to college.
So how are you feeling?
I'm nervous. I'm also really excited.
You know you're the first McKernan to not go to LSU in decades. Promise me this, you'll wear purple and gold at all the UT football games.
Dad.
Letting go isn't easy, especially for this Louisiana dad, but our children know family is always there for them. Just like when our clients come to us for help, they'll always be part of the Get Gordon family. We want to be your lawyers for life.
Call 888-8888.
Preparing a meal. It's a lot like preparing for a game. It involves hard work, the right plan, and attention to detail. Great food, that's our passion. A taste of Louisiana, handcrafted from scratch. Walk-ons, because everyone needs a little playing time.
Home, away, any game day. At Walk-Ons, we'll help you do game day right.
What's the most important aspect of event hosting? Location. This is something that Bell knew from day one. That's why we're located in downtown Baton Rouge, across from the convention center, close to LSU, and right by the river. So with a friendly staff, award-winning cuisine, and a massive conference center of 10 rooms and 24,000 square feet capable of fitting more than 2,000 guests, what we offer is just as important as where we are.
All right, welcome back, everybody, right here to Scoreboards. And, boy, we are here overtime with Athletic Director Roman Banks. A closer look at Jaguar Athletics. I've got Coach Sean Woods right here, men's basketball coach. You know, last week, Coach, I had a shrimp and corn soup, and it was unbelievable. Did you get some of that?
I didn't get any of that.
Oh, on a cold night like this?
Yeah.
That is perfect. That is absolutely perfect. You got to get that. Well, Coach, congratulations, my man. Two straight wins in a row at home.
Needed them.
And now you said that once that first game comes, you'll start going. But let's take a look at the first game, UAPB and the Golden Lions on that Saturday night. Richard Lee shot 3 for 10 from the three-point shot, but he hit some big shots down the stretch. 9 points of the ball game. Sidney Amude, that guy is just unbelievable. I mean, he keeps going like this. He had 22 points in that game against UAPB. He keeps going like this. He will definitely be on the first team and be considered as one of the players of the game of the year.
Well, Sid is one of the most talented guys, especially foreman in our league. You know, he can step out and shoot the 17-footer. He can slash and finish at the rim. He's super athletic. Once he's continued to get better at playing for 40 minutes. And if he continues to sustain for 40 minutes, he may be one of the top 3 or 4 players in this league.
I like the way he's shooting at the free throw line, too. His free throw shots have improved from even the first SWAC game I saw to now.
Well, yeah, because he's working on it every single day now. You know, he's actually putting time into his game, and now he's receiving some of the dividends from it.
Coach, you're starting to shoot a lot better, too. In the first half, shot 62% from the field. From downtown, you were 6 for 12 for 50%. And from the free throw line, 3 for 4 at 75%, only 4 trips. Usually at home, you get more of the free throw shots.
Right. But we're making shots, you know, but we're taking good shots. That's the reason why we're making them.
Now, obviously, McKnight got his points at 29 points, but a lot of that, Coach, 9-11 from the free throw line. Your defense did a good job of holding McKnight because he scored very early on. He had 2 3-pointers, and he got to cave that Michael Jordan look to the crowd like, you know, like that. And then I kind of said, uh-oh, he's kind of showing off a little bit. But then, Coach, for a long period of time, your defense shut him down.
Well, what we did was we started doubling him and started getting the ball out of his hands. But if you go back and watch the tape, every shot he took, maybe one, besides maybe 1 or 2, was tough shots.
Right.
And, you know, if you can shoot with a guy over your hand, you know, we just got to tip our hat off to you. But we just didn't think that he can make enough tough shots to beat us. Almost, but didn't do it.
Right. And he did his living at the free throw line that night for sure. And, Coach, also another thing that I talked to Coach Funchess about, too, earlier was his bench points. And now your bench points are starting to come out. In the game against UAPB, 29-15, you outscored UAPB in the bench points.
Well, everybody, you know, Coach Banks and I talked about this the other day. I'm playing still, you know, 10, 11 guys. And because I have to. And whoever's night it is, that's who's going to play and who's going to get significant minutes. But you know, we've been blessed the last 3-4 games to have a strong performance from our bench.
Coming off that bench, I like Brendan Brooks too, man. That guy can handle the rock.
He's a young walk-on freshman from Dallas, Texas, and giving us everything that he has. And what he is he's got great confidence. He's not afraid to shoot the basketball. And at first, playing against the bigger schools, he started off good, and then he lost his confidence a little bit, started turning the ball over. So we weren't playing him as much. And he came to me and said, Coach, I'm ready. Just give me a shot. And when we made a little change in our team, he stepped up, and he's been answering the bell ever since.
And a good guy coming off the bench, too, is Ossie. He was 7 of 8 from the free throw line.
Well, we've been waiting on that. We know how skilled he is, but he hadn't been healthy. Now he's starting to believe in his leg and starting to get some juice in his feet a little bit. And now he's showing people how skilled he is from an offensive standpoint.
And this game went into overtime. It was unbelievable. Had a chance to win it at the end. And I know that when the play is drawn up, it's not sometimes the way you draw it up. It kind of was a little mix-up at the very end and didn't get the shot off. So then we go into overtime. And then once again, nip and tuck both in ways. 9-7, we outscored them. That's it. It was 7-7 for a long time. And then we get down to the end. It looks like we're going to double overtime, but a foul at the very end. We went from the free throw line with 0.5 of a second left in the ball game, and that was big.
Well, it was about time for our best player to get fouled, you know, get one of those calls that their best player was getting pretty much all night. And it was unfortunate for Pine Bluff that it was, you know, the last part of the game, but you know, Sid did a great job, went up there, stepped up, and made free throws like a senior should do, and we got out of there with a victory.
Big man, man. Usually big men, because their hands are so big, usually don't shoot a good free throw line, but he's doing a great job at that shot.
Well, as a team, we've been right there, like when we played Grambling. As a matter of fact, let's go back to the first game we played Prairie View. Didn't have a great start.
Right.
Second half, we made a run, but we didn't believe that we could win the game because we always had guys coming off the bench that really hasn't been in that situation to close it. Then we played Texas Southern up to pretty much the whole first half, and then didn't believe that we can finish it because we playing guys that's never been in that situation. Have a bad start against Grambling, down 19 at the half, come back, go up 1 or 2, but couldn't finish it because of experience. Okay, Jackson State, same thing.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, we come home, same situation against Pine Bluff.
That's right.
We found a way to win. Then after that, now we believe that we can win, and we didn't even make it close against Mississippi Valley. So hopefully we can continue that trend and get better every single day.
And you did. You played the best game so far of the season against Valley. You played 2 halves. Let's take a look at it. 61% shooting from the field in the first half. 54% you finished for the 55% you finished for the game. You outscored them in the first half, 47-28. You end up winning 80-56. Really wasn't that big of a contest. The bench points again were big in that game, and also, Coach, rebounding was a huge factor. 44-23. You dominated the boards.
Well, that's been my trend ever since I've been a head coach, is dominating the glass, and now they're starting to become the team that I want them to become by hustling, because you can tell if you're out toughing a team by the rebound margin, and that's starting to become in play as we move forward.
You didn't give them second chance shots at all. You had 33 defensive rebounds, 11 offensive rebounds, so a very good job there. And we see a young man, and you believe in this guy a lot. Hassan is unbelievable. And I was telling you off air just a minute ago, he's got such a great soft touch down low. When he's there, you can see his soft touch, whether the layup, you see the good spin on the ball, it's going into the sack, usually when you do that. And also his turnaround shots, it's a soft floater, it gets in the air and it dies, but it's got a perfect spin on the ball, so when it gets to that front of that rim, it's a backspin right into the goal.
And you know what, throughout the whole year, he hasn't complained one time.
Wow.
You know, normally a kid, things aren't going right. His knee hadn't been responding. And all of a sudden, he said, Coach, I'm with you. And just, I'm going to continue to get better. And then when my time comes, I'm going to be ready. And his time came, and he's been producing. And now I got a 3-headed monster down there. I got Brian Assey, who's playing well. Yep. Now, we got to get Alex to come because I'm starting him now. But Hassan is our better scorer. Hassan, he reminds you of a Brad Doherty, something like that. He's got more moves down there than the for a post player, and also he's got a great touch, like you said, and he's an inside-outside type of guy.
And then you get a guy, you get off the bench, you talk about hot night. Darius Johnson comes off the bench, 18 points in the ball game.
Well, I said this early in the year, and no one believed me, that he was, going into camp, believe it or not, he was my best player. I thought that from what we were trying to do, he picked it up quicker than anybody. Then he had a foot injury. Then he came back, and then, he thought he was better than what he was at one time, and started to get frustrated a little bit. Had to bring him in, and now he's coming back. He's humbled himself, and he's accepted his role, and he had a great night the other night.
And, Coach, also another guy who is really giving you some good quality minutes and looking good is Jaden Sadler. Good game against Valley in that ball game, and he gets 14 points in the ball game.
We were very fortunate to get a player of this caliber. Jaden Sadler can play at a lot of places in the country, not just in the SWAC. I mean, Jaden Sadler can play at high major places because he's got a knack. He is a natural basketball player. And for a freshman, he's not playing like a freshman. And, he's a little banged up right now, so I rest him all day today in practice. But we go as he goes.
Coach shot 7 for 10 from downtown in the first half. Ended up shooting 7 of 16 for the ball game at 44% from three-point land.
I'll take that every day and twice on Sunday.
No doubt about that. Also good from the free throw line, 6 for 6 in the first half. And to finish the game at 69% right there from the free throw line.
Well, your team wants to be anywhere from 70 to 75%. That's reasonable. As long as we can stay within that 69 to 75%, that gives us a chance. That means that we're closing games out down the stretch, too.
All right. Now, with all the things I just talked about on the scoring part, Coach, defensively, your team stepped it up big time in that Valley game. I saw a lot of double teams. I saw a lot of frustrated Mississippi Valley State players trying to shoot the ball. Your defense was on them big time.
Well, they're finally starting to buy into what we do, and that's been my motto ever since I've been a head coach, is shutting people out and trying to keep people under 40%. And when you do that, you win 99% of your games, and they see that now, and they're having fun pitching shutouts. Pitching a shutout means if we can get 3 stops or 4 stops in a row, we call that a shutout. And as they were coming to the bench, they were high-fiving each other, not because we were making shots, because we were making stops. And when you got a team that's buying in on the defensive end, that's when you start to have something. 2
wins in a row now gets you more and more up. You took a step up in the conference standing, so that's good there. Tough games coming up. Alabama, we go to Huntsville, Alabama first. against Alabama A&M this Saturday, and then on Monday, Alabama State at Montgomery at the Joel Reed Acadome. Always a tough place to play there.
Well, it is. You know, when I was in the SWAC, years back, it was a tough place to play. But I'm really looking forward to our game against Alabama A&M because I get to go against one of my best friends and former assistants, in Dallin Howard, who's the interim head coach there. So looking forward to that first and getting him and then heading on to Alabama State.
And then Alcorn State makes its midway already, Coach. The season, you take a nap, the season's over.
No doubt about it.
Halfway against Alcorn State, and then we come back, and then we're expecting a huge crowd, folks. This is Grambling and Southern. It's going to be good on February the 9th.
We need our fans because they had a great crowd when we were there this past week. They had at least 4,000 fans there.
Wow.
And they were all on us, too. So I'm speaking to Jaguar Nation. We need you in the house in the Mini Dome when we play Grambling because we owe them, first of all, and second of all, we need our fans screaming down their necks like they were screaming down ours.
That was so big, I'm ready to go put a jersey on and play basketball myself. Good job, Coach. I can't say that better than myself. I got to get out of here. Overtime with Athletic Director Roman Banks continues right here. A closer look at Jaguar Athletics from Scoreboards right here on Coursey Boulevard. Back in a moment with Travion Scott right here next on Pelican Sports
Call
TV.
me Max Lax.
The birth of legends are storied in this conference. We must never forget our rich history. We now turn our gaze to the future. The new legends will emerge. New heroes to arise. The Southwestern Athletic Conference. Be our history.
At Roadrunner Towing, we love our God, our children, our nation, and yes, our sports. So let's play ball. Score big when you need a tow, either in East Baton Rouge or West Baton Rouge. Because at Roadrunner Towing, we don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes.
Legendary Import Group. Exceptional service and a rare collection. You'll discover the only distinctive auto for the legend in you. We are legendary.
I am legendary.
I'm Team Legendary.
I am legendary.
I am legendary.
Now that's legendary.
Stop by Legendary Import Group today, where our team is honored to serve you. We are legendary.
Legendary Import Group, the only place for legendary care.
The smart Baton Rouge business traveler travels out of Baton Rouge. Why? It's about not having to wake up hours earlier, fight traffic, and stand in long lines. It's also about BTR being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere your business takes you. Smart. So for your business, if it's about being one step ahead and not dead on your feet, then it's about time you flew BTR. Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
Imagine a day without music. You go downtown, you can find some music. You come uptown, you can find some music. Monday night, they got music. Every night of the week, there's music somewhere. Baton Rouge is a place where it's easy to make friends, it's easy to hear some music, and it's easy to come back. We got the music, we got the food, and we got good people. So with that combination, you can't lose, right? You ever come to Louisiana?
All right, welcome back, everybody. Overtime with Athletic Director Roman Banks. A closer look at Jaguar Athletics. And we've got a man who I used to love watching his shot at the top of the key, and he would also be a team leader. He was a good captain on this team when he played. Travion Scott.
Did I make any of them?
Yeah, you did.
Just checking.
You did, and he played back when they were, the Highsmith had the old buckets right there. No, I'm picking. I'm just joking.
Many moons ago.
It seemed like yesterday,
Yeah.
But it's been a while, huh?
Yeah, it's been a while.
What years did you play?
2001, 2005.
My goodness,
Yeah.
that makes me feel old too.
Yeah.
And Jesus was my color analyst, right?
I believe so, yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Now he's an MVP for Southern University Athletics. We can't let you go. There's been several people to try to get you to leave Southern University and go work somewhere else, but you are Deputy Athletic Director, and I'll tell you what, man, you do an unbelievable job. You are really a big MVP of Southern University staff.
Well, I appreciate that. I think whenever you have a staff, whenever you have leadership that kind of empowers you to do things that's in your heart. Southern University is in my heart.
Sure.
So, it makes it easy when you go to work for each other. You go to work to be able to prepare student athletes, for life. And that's what we do. And, my staff is a big part of that. Coach Banks' leadership is a big part of that. Dr. Belton's leadership is a big part of that. And so we just take what they do and we take it and use it in our own way to make sure that we can empower our student athletes to be the best they can be.
Working with Roman Banks. How is it?
Fun.
All right.
It's easy for me because I know Coach Banks. I was recruited by Coach Banks. I played for Coach Banks, and so the expectations for me is nothing different than when I was a player. And so he has expectations. They're high.
Right.
And you've got to be able to bring your hard hat and your A game every day. You've got to be able to think outside of the box. You got to be able to go the extra mile, and you got to be able to put your heart on the line for a purpose. And it's like I said, it's nothing different. We were a family then, we're a family now, and we're going to keep striving to do good things for Southern University.
No question about that. And something that you didn't have that they're about to have, the Academic Center. Tell us how important that's going to be for student athletes.
So actually it's open. We actually did a ribbon cutting for homecoming. And so we had Dr. Catrice Albert, the number 3 at the NCAA, who just so happens to be from right up the road at Point Capee. The NCAA's Executive Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion came down and we did a huge ribbon cutting. And we opened up a 6,000 square foot facility, complete with computer labs and a multimedia area and a fueling station for our student athletes to make sure that they put the right things in their bodies while they're studying and getting ready to compete in their sport to be great. And so really excited about it. We haven't begun to scratch the surface with some of the things that we're going to be able to do inside of it. But just this past semester, we've been able to grow and leaps and bounds academically just with the building. My boss always said it's really not the facilities, it's the people, it's the effort. And so, we wanted to make sure going into that facility that we were doing our very best with what we had. Now we have a little bit more, and a little bit more is expected as a result.
And you talk about the fueling center. There's so many universities that are stressing that big time. I mean, I saw Clemson's fueling. Are you kidding me? That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't think we're quite to that level, but I tell you what, our student athletes are proud to have it and to be able to have the necessary nourishment, those things that they put in their bodies. And we always draw the parallel. It's a little different when you're coming from our athletic department that's very centrally located either at the field house or in the dome area. And it's an early morning practice. A lot of our sports are practicing in the morning, and they've got 8 o'clock classes. But what do? Do you eat and risk getting to class late? Or, that should never be in a student athlete's mind. Do I have to eat at the risk of getting to class late? And so we always tell our student athletes, you can't get a grade if you're not there. Our student athletes have to sit in the first 3 rows. We have rules. We have a way that we go about doing business. And we didn't want that to be a reason why our student athletes were falling behind in their classwork. And so, we pitched the idea. I presented the idea to our leadership, Coach Banks, President Belton, and our board, and they allowed us to go with it, and here we are.
How big is that for recruiting? When you look at the field house, the weight room is nice. Now the academic center, and then also now the F.G. Clark Activity Center is getting a nice touch up. That's got to be big for recruiting.
Yeah, it is. And I always say that, the turf on the field it's as impactful as the turf on the field. The turf on the field recruits student athletes. The academic center recruits parents. And as a parent of two small boys myself, I can tell you that that's true. When you let your student athlete, choose an institution, and you want to make sure that that institution is going to prepare them for life after the air is let out of that ball, so to speak. And so that's what our academic center represents. It represents us being able to attack the student athlete experience from a holistic perspective.
And I know you like scheduling just like I do. How did you like the football scheduling for football coming up in 2019?
I loved it. I think it provided the balance that we needed. I think the expectation year over year is that you compete for SWAC championships. And so in our mind, there was a 12-game schedule, but in our mind, it's a 14-game schedule. So we have to prepare to play 14 times during the year. And so it gave us a balance of being able to play regional opponents without playing what we would think would be too far over our heads. We're going to McNeese. We're going to make McNeese a home game. In some way, shape, form, or fashion. Then we're going to go to Memphis. We've got a huge alumni base there, and so they'll get a look at the Jaguars, and then we'll come home for the Pete Richardson Classic. And so we'll be able to enjoy that while renewing our rivalries historically with Florida A&M, and still have that SWAC schedule. And by way of that, prepare ourselves for like what Coach Odoms calls the November to remember. And so, you have the schedule set to where you have that balance. You have games that you can win. And so we look forward to football season. We look forward to cheering the Jags on to a SWAC championship.
It's going to be fun. I'm telling you, that's going to be fun. Travion Scott, Deputy Director Athletics of Southern University. Thank you so much for being here as we continue right here overtime with Athletic Director Roman Banks. A closer look at Jaguar Athletics right here at Pelican Sports TV. I saw it.
Need to see a doctor fast? Lake Express Check-In lets you get in line online. Visit OLOLRMC.com/express to choose an estimated treatment time at one of our emergency room, urgent care, or physician office locations. A service of Our Lady of the Lake.
Legendary Import Group. Distinguished service and detailed attention. You'll discover the only distinctive auto for the legend in you. Stop by 10660 Coursey Boulevard or phone 225-960-1191.
It's game day. A day that should be spent in the living room, not the kitchen. So next game, you just worry about the score, because we've got the food covered. With hand-battered, cooked-to-order, always fresh, never-ever frozen chicken fingers, craveable cane sauce, crispy crinkle-cut fries, and jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, official chicken of Southern University. One love.
Welcome to the multiplier games. Multiply your winnings 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, 50 times. Win up to $200,000. Louisiana Lottery. Multiply your play.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton & Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton & Fouger today.
Cherokees, we'd rather sell them than move them.
It's Salisbury's moving sale in Jeep Adventure Days.
All new 19 Jeep Cherokee Latitudes and $19,990 after finance rebate.
15 at this price.
Get them now at Salisbury's Chrysler,
Dodge,
Jeep,
and Ram in Baton Rouge.
What's the most important aspect of event hosting? Location. This is something that Bell knew from day one. That's why we're located in downtown Baton Rouge, across from the convention center, close to LSU, and right by the river. So with a friendly staff, award-winning cuisine, and a massive conference center of 10 rooms and 24,000 square feet capable of fitting more than 2,000 guests, what we offer is just as important as where we are.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Overtime with Athletic Director Roman Banks, and we've also got in the house the soccer coach, Coach Jeremy Fontenot is in the house. Y'all give it up for Coach Fontenot. And he and I, Coach, might be related because my mom's maiden name is Fontenot.
Uh-oh.
So he might be my cousin or somebody like that. I don't know that. Hey, it's time to ask the AD. I've got Tiana right here, and Tiana, you've got someone right here. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, my name is Angel Jenkins. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And my question is in regards to the athletic facilities. You've spent some time in today's session talking about our facilities as they are right now, but what are your thoughts on where we're going and where do you see us in the next 5 years?
Well, obviously right now we have to make some improvements that we are mandated by NCAA as it relates to Title IX and gender equity incentives and motivations to get ourselves corrected. And so we're going to start right now on what we have and improving what we have, but in the future, I would like to see us create a practice gym, an all-purpose gym. I definitely would like to do something different with the baseball field. I think as it relates to coming over the hump, we need to make that something that stands out. And so it's a lot of things that we have in work as it relates to our 5 to 7 year projection for our facilities. And so what you have right now is something that we're mandated to do, but it's also some things that we'll want to do. I look forward to talking about closing in Mumford Stadium. And so, there's a lot of things that we have to do, and it's going to take dollars to do them, but I'm motivated to think big because I just think that Southern owe itself that.
All right, Tiana, you got another question?
Yes, sir, we do. Hi, my name is Pernice Clark, and Coach Banks, I have a question. What are your thoughts as we travel down to Memphis this year? I see that you put the 2019 football schedule out.
Yeah, so, this is the earliest we ever put our schedule out. And we're excited about that schedule being out to give our fans the chance to prepare for the season and that they don't have to rush themselves because we know we have a traveling party. And so obviously Memphis was impactful because we always look around and try to reach our base. And we have a huge alumni base there. And believe it or not, the emails that I get, as it relates to congratulations, and if you ever can find a game in this area, we look forward to helping the team out and doing what we can do. So, those things are dear to me. And so Memphis have always been knocking on the door. And so Memphis is great. I just think that bringing fam back, I promise that we'll try to get back to some of our old rivalries. And, I can see in the future playing a Tennessee State, playing a A&T. Mm-hmm. Those are the things that I think that can replace game guarantees. And so Traven expounded on it earlier. We look at, I call it down and distance. You're going right there to McNeese State. And I think our fans will go there and take over. Right. And that'll speak volumes about who we are as Jaguar Nation. And so those are the things when we start talking about travel down and distance, what we can do to excite our alumni base, then that put that schedule together for us.
There's two more I want to ask you about if there's any negotiations on that. Used to be a great series with Nicholls State back in the day when Coach Pete was coaching. So Nicholls State's one. And then another one I want to ask about is where you were also an assistant coach in Southeastern. I got people from Hammond area asking me all the time, do you think the Southern Southeastern matchup will ever come back?
Well, I think it's an exciting game. I think it's working through the scenarios. I think both of those places you just mentioned are travel friendly. But I'm over and instructed to be to lead Jaguar athletics. And so at the end of the day, it has to make sense. So, Southeastern was second home for me. I love to go there, but at the end of the day, it has to make sense for our team to go there. So give you an example is that if they get 7,000 people,
yes,
and it's flooded, it's a packed house.
Yes.
And so we're going to bring 15,000.
Yeah.
And so when we play a home game and people come back to us, they bring 1,000.
Right.
I don't think that's fair to us. So in some form or fashion, if we're going to go to these places, they have to give me an incentive for Southern University to come to their place if they can't match their attendance.
That's right.
And that's been the problem in several years, is that we travel everywhere,
right,
but they haven't been reciprocating that back to us at Southern University, even in the conference. And so only way we're going to get to 20,000, 20 plus thousand a night is to make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do and that we're supporting ourselves as Jaguar Athletics. That means that our fans are prepared to support us like they travel.
All right, now speaking of that too, baseball, you talked about that. We're going to have Carrick Jackson here next week. We're going to talk Southern baseball. Also, Coach Dawson Odoms is going to be here about the signing day too.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that with the recruiting, now 2 days in recruiting. Didn't do a big recruiting in December because we're going to do a big recruiting coming up in February.
Right. And so we look forward to right around the corner because I think that Coach Odoms have really built this team in a way that it could be continue to be dominant over the next several years. And so we had to be careful, and in a lot of ways it was unfair to him because you just couldn't go sign who you wanted to sign because of the penalty phases that we're in with the NCAA. And so now that we're, doing a good job and we're headed out of that, we have some of our own autonomy. And now we can go get a couple of transfers, a couple of junior college guys that can come in and add to it instead of just keep on building from the freshman level, which is what we want to do. But now we can go out and take a risk on 1 or 2 guys.
Because he had a good recruiting class in the last year to where there's a lot of players that didn't even play.
Right.
For this year, and they're now getting ready to play. And when you we didn't have many seniors graduating, so we've got a very strong football team, and you've got 2 quarterbacks who has experience too.
Well, what happens is the quality is kept that we started to get scholarships back in all sports, and so which other schools been having numbers.
Right.
Now with what we have, and we're able to add more numbers, so they give you a chance to get a better player or redshirt this player for the next year. That's how you continue your growth. And so now we're putting ourselves in that position. I used to tell the staff all the time the last couple of years that we've been playing from behind. Now I think that we're playing from a jump ball. So it's even in the game now, and I just think that Southern University can go to a whole nother level.
No doubt about that. Now, Coach Odoms will be with us on it next week. Oh, wow. They're forcing us to eat another spoonful of this delicious bread pudding.
Since they are forcing us, I guess we have to.
We have to eat it. Tie the back. I don't want the back of my hands tied, but folks, look at this. There's actually pecans on top of this, and this thing you go through layers and layers. You need an elevator to get to the bottom level. I mean, this thing is unbelievable. So I'm going to take a taste.
You're going to take a taste of first. Yeah. Go ahead.
Boy, it's so good. Oh,
that's the real deal, huh?
Big time real deal. We got another winner here. We going to announce that winner?
Got a number. All right, winner. Door prize 609035. 609035. The big prize. Got a winner in the back. Come on up and get your prize.
Come on up.
That man, that's his second prize tonight, man.
Yeah. Congratulations.
He got it going on.
Man, I'll tell you what, that's pretty good. All right, that is very, very good. And also, I tell you what, come on by here. This place right here, Scoreboards, like I said, the corn and shrimp bisque was absolutely unbelievable. Come see us right here. I'm Chris Powers. We'll see you back next week right here on Pelican Sports TV.
Go Jags.